We partner with the best and brightest students worldwide who will be the leaders in a rapidly evolving new field of organizational practice and research. The new field is called Organizational Cultures for Well-Being and Happiness, and we think it is critical for college students to acquire related skills. The field is all about maximizing the well-being and happiness of people, and in doing so, it covers a wide range of topics. These terms have quickly become the hottest topics in the business world. Some of the world's biggest brands are on board. Our more than 20 internationally renowned faculty members have each created a video covering their area of expertise related to culture, well-being, and happiness. One video plus selected reading materials creates a module. Here are a few video clips from these great teachers.
Imagine you could create any company you wanted. You could retool it any way, anything you've learned from, any book you've read, any author you've heard about. You could take an organization you're part of and completely recraft it, and when you were done, it was exactly what you were hoping for. Now imagine you could describe that resulting organization in just one word. What would that word be? When I pose this question to audiences, I often hear the words productive, positive, engaging, happy, fun, profitable, great competitor, dominant in their market. All those kind of words come flowing out. I have a new word for you to consider. How about joyful?
So why are organizations failing? According to some research from an MIT study of global teams, they're failing for entirely predictable and avoidable reasons. Can you guess? Can you guess why they're failing? It's pretty simple. 80% of global teams said they are failing to achieve their own goals. And the reason they're failing, number one reason, they fail to build trust. They fail to build trust. They haven't even built relationships, let alone trusting relationships. Number two, communication barriers. And this has nothing to do with language or country culture. This has everything to do with human beings communicating with each other. And I can prove it's not to do with culture, because anyone married to someone from their same culture, their same native language, you have trouble communicating? Exactly.
Along comes this concept of positive psychology. Dr. Martin Seligman, the founder of positive psychology, as he's known in the United States, he's also the director of Positive Psychology Center at the University of Pennsylvania, and he's the past president of the American Psychological Association. He knows what he's talking about. Dr. Seligman, for years, like most psychiatrists and psychologists, worked with sick people. He worked with people depressed, psychotic, all the issues where you're, from a mental health perspective, you're starting at kind of okay and they go down fast, and how do we fix them? And what he saw was, instead of talking about what's wrong with somebody, let's start seeing what's right with somebody. What's right with somebody? Let's move and let's start from zero and go the other way. And let's see, how can we really help somebody reach their potential?
And coming up with a purpose statement, basically it's a definitive statement that communicates the difference that you're committed to make in the world, right? Who in here has read Good to Great by Jim Collins? It's like the business book of the decade last. Well, all those companies that he was talking about, they're really tanking now. They're struggling. They're really, you know, they're struggling right now. And for our perspective, it's like, okay, let's go from great to amazing. Let's take it to the next level and really become these purpose-driven companies. We're shifting from profit-driven to purpose-driven. Bottom line, that's how it's happening.
In fact, Bobby Kennedy, back in 1968, when he was running for president, made a speech at the University of Kansas in which he said, the GDP measures, in short, everything except that which makes life worthwhile. So we kind of need another way of telling ourselves whether we're doing well. And a little country way over in Asia, between big China and big India, a little country called Bhutan, has come up with a different way of measuring well-being, and they call it gross national happiness.
And let me stop on the culture piece for just a second. I do a lot of work with multinational companies, companies that are merging across country borders. They have a lot of pieces of culture going on. And so when a big piece of IOC's work is culture. It's in the name. So digging into that culture piece is not a small thing. You have the culture that you were raised in your family unit. You have, and maybe that changed. You have the culture of the town and the city you're in. You have the culture of the university that you're in. You have the culture of the country you live in. You have the culture on the continent that you're on. So this starts from a small family dynamic out to big cultural pieces. Within one organization, there are multiple cultures.
Hi, my name is Deb Westcott, and I am going to be talking with you today about emotional intelligence and how emotional intelligence impacts the success of businesses. I want to thank the IOC for giving me this ability to present to you and to talk to you. And I also want to thank you for being here, because I know your students either undergrad or grad or who knows how old. But one of the things you have focused on in your life up until now is knowledge. Is learning knowledge. Is the cognitive part of your brain is probably so big, the rest of the brain doesn't even know what to do with it. Today, I am not going to talk about the cognitive part of you. I am going to talk about the feelings part of you. So stay with me and don't leave, and understand that we're going to talk about feelings in a really easy way. Not any kind of way that will put you on the spot or make you say or do something that you don't want to.
Now let's talk about culture. So there are a lot of very complicated change management models out there, and I encourage you to explore them, use them if you like them. Again, for me, simple is better. And when I looked at these models, and when I look back on my experiences in researching culture and seeing some of the things that have really had an impact in organizations, I boiled them down into 4 simple steps. And if you do these 4 things and you do them well and you never stop doing them, I'm convinced that you can change a culture.
And I particularly want you all to be thinking about this as college students, because most of you, I'm imagining, are part of this millennial generation. And I think, based on my analysis of historically what's happened, this millennial generation is not going to really be in charge, like and run things totally, but they're going to lead the charge into this more human organization, because you guys have grown up with this. You've grown up with social media. You've seen these things. These things are going to make more sense. And as you become the largest segment of the workforce, you have an opportunity to shape leadership and management more than anyone has in the last 100 years. So think about that and take advantage of it. I'm going to be really excited to see where you guys take it.
So how can AIESEC students get involved? There are several ways, but one we suggest is to start Wellbeing and Happiness study groups on campus. A group might focus on the 6 introductory modules and then meet face-to-face every other week for 60 to 90 minutes to discuss and brainstorm contents of a module. This results in only 6 to 9 hours of meeting time over a 12-week period. But the program is totally flexible and customizable, and each group can create their own format. More good news, this entire program is free. There's no cost to students or their schools. IOC looks forward to having AIESEC students participating from many countries. There's no doubt that this program can positively affect each student's personal life, academic life, and later their work life. When you graduate, business will want to hire students like you. Please pass the word around to our friends, colleagues, and professors. To learn more, visit our website at inspiredorganizationalcultures.org, or feel free to contact us directly.